Round of applause for Zander and Husna.
Hello. How are we? Zander, how are you? That was a limpy walk to the stage just now.
Yeah, I'm too old for this.
Oh, God. So before the competition, Zander was like, "Do you know what? I'm not going to get that competitive when I play." And I feel like that lasted all of what, like 2 seconds?
Yeah, sorry, there's a guy that I was having a lot of beef with in the last match. Yeah, I owe you a beer if you're here. Sorry.
All good. There is so much we want to cover, so I think I'm going to get straight into it and ask you to think back to 2022. So to set some context, in 2022, after coming out to your family a year earlier, Zander posted a status on Facebook announcing publicly that he was coming out as gay after you'd been to Pride at Benidorm. Before we go into...
Does anyone, obviously we are in Berlin, has anyone been to Benidorm?
We've got some Brits.
If you've got German friends and stuff, please educate them on what Benidorm is. It's, wild place.
We love Benidorm.
Wild place.
No, before we talk about why then and what the message said, I really want to know what you did as soon as you sent that message, because that was pretty life-changing. Did you put your phone away? Did you go for a walk? Were you checking notifications? What did you do?
Yeah, I mean, it happened at my first Pride event. At 29-year-old, I know I had the week off football, and I went on Google, and I was like, where is the nearest Pride event? And the only Pride event was Benidorm. Which, for anyone, again, if it's not from here, does not know what Benidorm is, it's, how do we explain it?
Isn't there a program about Benidorm in the UK?
Yeah,
What's it called?
Just a bit crazy.
Benidorm.
Oh, Benidorm, yeah.
On the nose. I feel like
Yeah.
if you want to learn about Benidorm, maybe watch that series?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Lovely
the
place.
The Pride exemplifies that, and it's just an organic moment. My friend wanted to take a photo of me at the event, and she told me, she took the photo and she was going to put it on social media, and she was like, "Oh, I can't put that on social media because of your football."
Yeah.
And I just pondered that thought as I walked up to the hotel. I sat on my veranda, that's a Glasgow term, sat on the balcony. Balcony?
Yeah, balcony.
That's good.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
Deutsch is
learning.
good.
I sat on the balcony and I just made the post and fell asleep. Husna.
Okay.
Woke up.
To what?
Wow. Nobody could have prepared me for that. And because I lived majority of my life, in the closet, I didn't know much about the LGBTQ community. I had no idea the impact. Honestly, I thought I could just made that post. Mm-hmm. Easy way to tell the football boys. I didn't feel the need, to walk into the dressing room and be like, "Boys, I'm gay." No. No,
Was that a German accent?
A little bit. I have to relate to. If I speak proper Glaswegian, no one's going to understand me. So yeah, I done that, and then it blew up. And this is the reason why I'm here today, and why I want to do my talking off the pitch now, because I could not believe, Husna, the amount of people that sent me 61 letters I've got in my cupboard at home.
Wow.
61. Majority from young people, but people from all over the world, people from all walks of life, but a lot in football, especially in the men's game. And I thought, and as well as many messages, I'm like, I need to do something about this. There's a lot of people still struggling here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, fast forward to now, it's incredible, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I have so many questions about that, but you said you got 61 letters through, of people of support. Is there any of those letters that you can remember that really stick out to you when you read them?
Oh. I'm not going to get emotional. Yeah, just young people, because I knew growing up, I grew up in East End of Glasgow. It's very stereotypical East End of Glasgow. It's council estate, or what can I say, more general term?
Council estate.
Rough,
yeah.
Council, proper Glasgow hardcore. Our Berliners say, hardcore bit in, I stay hardcore bit.
I'm here for this accent.
I've grew up in, hardcore Glasgow. So it was difficult playing, being good at football and excelling in football through my younger years, and finding out I was gay. It was like, what the hell? Because my education, there was no education, there was no role models, there was no visibility other than Justin Fashanu, of course, who set the tone for us. And for anyone who doesn't know, Justin Fashanu committed suicide as the first open-out gay British player. So it was, that was my only sort of role model. So it was tough. It was really, really challenging. And yeah, I had a lot of tough years. And I'm so glad that eventually, at 29-year-old, I'm 32 now, but I'm glad at 29 I finally changed that. Here's a quote, here's a stat recently that I heard that just blows my mind. In the men's game, there's 133,000 footballers that play professionally. Up until when I was playing 2 months ago, 6 were only open about their sexuality. 6 out of 133,000. Wow.
And you've mentioned Justin Fashanu, and we had a talk last week with someone called Musa Chhoangalia, who wrote a chapter on Justin Fashanu and his life. You said he was a role model. I want to ask you, again, maybe to set some context, when Justin Fashanu came out in the 80s, he got a torrent of abuse. It was really, really horrible for him, and he did end up taking his own life. Did that make it more difficult to come out, seeing what had happened to him, or was it, something that you thought, actually, if he could do it, then I can too?
Yeah, it was heartbreaking what happened to him, and you just watch with a microscope anybody that's like you, you know. So of course that made a huge impact, but also like in the changing room, what I heard in the changing room, what I heard at school at the time, or what I heard at home with my father, what I heard with my coaches. Get up, you gay boy! Stop being a gaydo! Stop being a Nancy! It was being gay was an inferior term.
Yeah. You
know, being gay was a weakness. Being gay was a horrible thing. And me, I'm not going to say I was a child prodigy playing football. Oh my goodness.
Well, we all saw you play today. So.
I was last game, boy was he had me on toast. But I certainly had it difficult having to understand my brain. I'm like, how can I be gay? How can I be good at football? How can I be good at football and how can I be gay? Mm-hmm. That battle for 16 years of my life, you know, just because of my environment, which is sad. And that's why I want to just try and help the conversation, you know.
Yep.
There may be people in your dressing room that is struggling, so being authentic allies, and I can give examples obviously later on, like that's so important and was massive for me. It really, really was.
How does it feel thinking that if there is a young lad in a dressing room who is gay and who is looking for role models, might now see you as a role model for them?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a crier, but it's the things that I've seen, especially being an ambassador now and do talks and travel the world. I'm so lucky. I do educational workshops in Scotland, and I'll do a talk. Sometimes it's tough. It's really hard. I do challenging homophobia workshops in professional football academies. We just got funded by the SFA, our football federation, first time in history, 3 weeks ago, which means the world. But it's not easy, like standing up to these football Celtic, Rangers, Cimarron, and it's 60 academy boys just like, what are you going to say? It's so hard. But I push myself through it and we get through it. Why? I go home, I check my Instagram messages. Thank you so much. I'm really, really struggling. I don't know what to do. I love football. I'm good at football, but yeah, I don't know how I can accept myself, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've had so many of these messages, and that means the world, eh? Like, just so someone can see someone like them. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. And trying to put some relevance into that pride flag, because I'm well aware I've been in dressing rooms for so long, and I have had many conversations, even been out. I am well aware of what some men think of the pride flags, you know?
Yeah.
And if I can impact that, you know, to make them to understand why that's important, then that means the world. It really does.
Has there been a way in which you've seen that getting that message across to them has worked?
Yeah, I think just being authentic and showcasing, you know, I've done loads of work online. I've documentaries, I've had my own documentary on BBC. We've contributed to Rylan. Does anyone know Rylan here? So he had to come up to Scotland to find, he had a documentary, football, it was football, homophobia, football and me. He had to come up to Scotland to see any work that's been done to challenge homophobia, which sort of down south, when that got released, they were like, right, what on earth? Why are we not doing that? So that was amazing for them to come up and watch your workshops and stuff and see the impact, you know, honestly, see the kids, they fill in a QR code at the end and it's so heartwarming. You know, kids that maybe not part of a community, just like, I had no idea that the things I'm saying could be actually really, really hurting someone. And listen, I'm talking about one thing here, homophobia, but it's any form of discrimination. Do you know what I mean? You need to be so careful of what you're saying, because it could be really, really hurting someone, like a little Zander did to me. Do you know what I mean? If I love football. I was a bit worried playing in this tournament, I'll be honest, because I'm ultra competitive, and I've not touched, and I've not played football for like maybe 4 months. So I was really, really worried. I'm like, Zander, if that unleashes, like, I have a switch that's just, I don't know, I can't explain it. I'm obsessed, you know, and I'm glad that I didn't get overly too competitive. It was very friendly, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you did. And you said that being your most authentic self has been something that you've seen help sort of shift people's perspectives. And you were your authentic self in 2002 when you did the Facebook post. And there's been a lot of chat about dressing rooms. It was a sort of theme that we had with Musa as well, about the dressing rooms and how hard they can be.
Yep.
What was it like going into the dressing room of your team after you had posted on Facebook?
Well, firstly, incredibly, a couple months before that, my manager just started, like, I wasn't out, obviously I was out to my friends and family, but it took me like 1.5 years to come out to the football community. My manager just randomly started saying every time we won a match, right boys, I don't care what you do, go home with your girlfriends, go home with your boyfriends, go home, relax. Mm-hmm. And you can imagine what happened when they said that, got loads of giggles and a lot of sneers. But he continued to say it 3, 4, 5 weeks in. Still giggles from some players and sneers. Our captain, Gareth Roger, just turned around and he was like, boys, my cousin's gay, he's got a husband, he's happy. See, if anybody's got a boyfriend in this dressing room, it's not a laughing matter. Like, that's absolutely fine. And I was like, wow. They had no idea who I was gay. That's just someone being a genuine good person, authentic allyship. And this is something I can definitely feel through the room when I was getting changed there, and I seen your values of SC Falcao, you know. It's just been a genuine good person, do you know what I mean? And the more we can showcase these real life examples, I hope that continues to change hearts and minds, absolutely. But yeah, sorry, I didn't answer your initial question.
No, it's all right.
So, but I remember, so I did a live TV. Please don't YouTube it. It's an absolute disaster. I was so nervous. My first, straight from Benidorm. So the next, I didn't even answer that. So I got a call the next, so I fell asleep, woke up, and there's this woman called Lorraine Kelly.
Some people may know.
She's like, Zander, you're coming to London. You're not coming to Glasgow. And I'm like, who is this? Who's bamming me up here? She's like, no, it is. You're coming to London. Oh my God, that's so terrifying.
Lorraine Kelly.
Aye. Oh my God. So many cameras. If you YouTube it, I couldn't get my first word out. And being Scottish, and I roll my R's, and what is Lorraine? So I'm like, Lorraine, disaster. But it was amazing to do that. But when I walked in, they all just burst out laughing, like taking the pee out me for being on the Lorraine show, which was so nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously it blew up, went viral, so that was nice, because people, I've had many conversations with a few of you, people say they just play football just to go and play on the pitch. No chance. And that's even in a professional game. You play football to have that banter in that dressing room. What happens in the dressing room stays in the dressing room, but it's wild and it's amazing, and I love that togetherness, that brotherhood or sisterhood in the women's game. It's so important, and that's what I worried about. I'm like, I knew I was a leader. I knew I was aggressive. I knew people looked up to me. I'm like, I truly hope, when I came out, I hope that some of my boys who I've developed strong bonds with, I hope they still accept me and, you know, treat me as they did before. And touch wood, luckily, yeah, that was the case, which was amazing. I was really, really lucky, yeah.
How was the reception from away fans after you came out?
Well, I'm glad you never talked about online.
We can go there next.
But yeah, we'll talk about away fans first. There's only once it's happened, one game. And this is the beauty, though, of being your true self. So it happened at one of my home matches. One of their own fans went to a steward, pointed the man out, and said, my own fan has been homophobic to Zander. Get him out.
Wow.
He got a ban for life. The club contacted me, showed me, look, this man he's not coming to our matches anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting chills. I was like, wow, that's incredible. Like, they understand my story and they've understood like why that's important not to say that, because we've always, I don't want to go too deep, but listen, I've bloody struggled to get to where I am and to accept myself. Like I have hated myself for so long. Eh? Yeah. I just couldn't believe, like, how can I be? Honestly, this is the simple thing in my brain was this for so long. I'm like, how can I be physical, as you've seen today? How can I be physical? How can I be aggressive? How can I be good? How can I be more, athletic than these men and be gay? How is that effing possible? And it was a huge battle. But you can't put LGBTQ plus people in one box. Do you know what I mean? We are just like you. If you actually have conversations and stop having Twitter battles or, go and speak to people. Do you know what I mean? We are just like you. Yep. So yeah. Thank you. Oh, you're... I'm not crying, by the way. I'm not going to cry today. Stop.
That's the goal now.
Oh, thank you.
You said you sort of went through a lot of hate and like a lot of questioning, and you've spoken quite openly about from the ages of like 13 to 29, there was a lot of internalized homophobia.
Yep.
And I mean, we hear that term and we know what it means. It's like a dictionary definition. But as someone that's going through it, how does that feel? What does internalized homophobia feel like?
This is a deep part. We'll have loads of fun in a bit, but yeah, I need to be honest and tell you so you know. Anything you're struggling with, obviously I struggled with my sexuality. It's any walk of life, your mental health, anything. It can have a real impact on your physical, mental, emotional health. There is no doubt about that. Through this, I got chronic stress, chronic headaches, burnout, shingles. Wild. Honestly, I hit rock bottom, literally, because of my sexuality. Mm-hmm. That's wild. Because I couldn't accept myself. I refused to accept myself. I just was like, no, I can't be gay. I can't. I'm good at football. I can't. It's impossible. It's actually impossible. And that's why I'm doing this Tips Talks, because no one can get to the levels that I got to. Yeah. Honestly, you just accept yourself. Life's too short. You will get hate. This life, there's people they've been brought up in the wrong environment. They're going to attack you, especially online, blank profiles. But you're also going to get an outpour of love in a community that I had no idea existed. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm so glad now to be. I'm in deep now. I'm at the forefront of this community, which means the absolute world, and that really cancels out all the negative hate. And that's something I'm really passionate about now. Like, how can I continue to try and win over some hearts and minds? Now, you cannot polish a turd. You're not going to win over some people. That's fine. That's not a problem. But I truly believe there's people on the fence. Mm-hmm. They always say, like, Zander, what is this pride flag about? Why is that important? Like, shoving it in their faces and blah, 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 blah. And if you can go about that in a diplomatic way for them to be like, oh, no, okay, that makes sense. And then they're at the pub with their friends, and then they can challenge their friends. That, to me, is massive, eh? So, yeah, it's going 2 years in my ambassador role. It's going well.
What does allyship in football look like? Because we see sort of rainbow armbands, but is there that little bit more that needs to be done that you feel is missing at the moment?
Authentic allyship. Aaron Ramsdale, his brother.
Yep.
My example, the manager and the captain. Authentic allyship. Mm-hmm. Who's a cricket player? I'm not a cricket man. Oh. What's the cricket player? Did you hear about? I'm going to tell you the example. Yes, at the back. Joe Root, my friend. Well done, Barry. So Joe Root, I don't know if you've seen it against West Indies. So we play that in our workshops, authentic allyship. So I think sorry, I'm not a cricket fan, so please tell me if this is wrong. So before they hit the cricket ball.
That's right, yeah.
To try and get a wicket.
Yeah, again.
So they try and have a bit of beef with one another to try and put one off.
Psych him out.
Yeah, but the West Indies went over to Joe Root and said, poof or gay or something. And this only got picked up because on the wicket, there's microphone, there's a microphone on the wicket.
Right.
And he just turned around and went, don't use gay as a slur. There's nothing wrong with being gay, mate. Don't use it as a slur.
Yep.
So this wasn't in a press conference. This wasn't in an interview. This was at just a live match. And that was, I'm getting goosebumps. That sent shock. That was amazing for our community.
Yep.
That authentic allyship. Do you know what I mean? I have no idea his story. I think he's married. He's got kids. That's incredible. And if we can continue that, I mean, that's massive. Because this is so simple, but I've obviously got many friends in the women's game. It's not cool to be gay in the men's game, and I can tell you that firsthand. It's not. It's not cool. With women's game, LGBT plus people are mega celebrated, you know? They are super cool. Leah Williamson, wow.
Sorry, it's just a German accent
Sorry.
again.
But they are. They're super cool, and I hope we get to, I hope when I'm an old man, I feel like an old man, but I hope, 10, who's laughing there? Fair enough, you're in my team. I hope in 15, 20 years' time that I can sit back and be like, wow, I helped. I done my little bit for this world and made it a better place. I hope so.
Why do you think there's such a difference between the men and the women's game in the acceptance of being queer?
I think women are just more understanding, cooler, better, more awesome, more understanding.
Can't argue with that.
It's a safe space. I think it's definitely a safe space, whether you're part of the community, someone, as I said earlier, like, if someone says in the dressing room, what you do on the weekend, I think in a women's dressing room, they could go, oh, I'm just chilling with my girlfriend. Yep. Oh, excellent, what you up to, what you doing, brilliant. Whereas that conversation with me, I've had to live a double life for 10, 15 years, and I hope we can get to a point that conversation, someone feels comfortable enough to be like, and just tell them. That's a massive question, and that could last the full length of the interview, but yeah, I just think it's a safe space. It's more understanding. Women's football is the benchmark. We need to continue to look at that. And I think the trajectory of women's football, I think, is also going to benefit us as well, because how celebrated and supported LGBTQ plus players are. Do you know what I mean? In the women's game. And honestly, since I've retired, I now go to women's game. I support Glasgow City. And for anyone who doesn't know Glasgow City, Celtic and Rangers, of course, are the big teams in Scotland. And in the women's game, Glasgow City are this community club fighting for the title. You can take your dog, you can have a pint. You can't always drink at Scottish games because we're all crazy, but you can have a pint there and take your dog. I love it. So yeah.
Sounds like a real community feel about it.
Oh yeah.
How has the reaction been in football to you when you came out?
Good, because I know for a fact I changed a lot of hearts and minds, especially who are influential decision makers and policy makers, which is always a goal of mine. People in important positions, managers spoke openly about the support. Like, that's great, brilliant. It was great, it was good. But yeah, I did get while I was out, I moved to a higher division, and I finally, played pro, which is amazing, and just shows you, like, I've hovered at the one below professional for so long, and I had 3 opportunities through my 20s to play higher. Guess the reason why I never.
Yeah, I did read about it, and I wanted to ask you.
I had so many opportunities to play higher, and this is my thought process when I got offered these contracts or got offered these trials, right, with higher teams. I'm like, if I go and play with them, you get these fans are so obsessed, they're going to look at my Facebook, they're going to look to like 2K, they're going to scan all my photos, they might find like a smile looks kind of gay, they're going to put it on a forum, and then rumours might go that I'm gay, and at that point I did not accept myself, so I would not have handled that well at all. So that's the only reason I never played higher when I was younger. But I'm so proud that when I was, 31, I eventually took the leap to go and play pro again. At 18, 19, 20, I played pro, and then at 31, I went and played again, which was, it was amazing. It was just a dream, as like anyone who plays football, to go and play professional football. No one can take me away from that. But when I did do that, it blew up again on social media, and one comment that just, I don't know why it got to me, but he said, Zander, you can't keep getting a move to a higher club because you're gay. Remember that? And I'm like, you really think Robbie Horn was the manager that signed me for a good chunk of money? I'm like, you really think Robbie Horn signed me for a big fee because I was gay? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
nothing to do with Gala Ferradine Rovers 5, Bonnie Wright Rose 1. A couple of months before that, that's the reason why he signed me. And the fact I've scored 100 plus goals. Nothing to do with my being gay. And I'm glad that, indirectly there's education there as well, because when I was getting hate, a lot of my fans, the club's fans were challenging him as well. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So it's so important, and I hope that people can just be their authentic self, not need to go public, or if they just be in the dressing room, because I think these little micro conversations that happened when I was out, like for example, somebody will accidentally slip up in a dressing room, right? They'll say a word, they'll say maybe a potential homophobic slur, and they just look at me like, Zander, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, I think naturally they're kind of changing their general norms, because I don't know what it's like in Germany, but there's small towns in
of course.
Scotland that they've probably never met anyone from our community, so if I can be that person, that role model for them to accept our community as a whole and change the language they're using daily, then it's going to have a ripple effect, absolutely.
And I sort of watched your documentary, and what I found really interesting was that you were going through this like internal turmoil around your sexuality, but then at the same time you said playing football, being on the pitch, was almost like an antidepressant. And I thought that was really interesting, because it was sort of like the thing that was causing the issue was kind of solving it at the same time when you're on the pitch. How does that dynamic work?
Great question. Honestly, football has saved my life. Like, the amount of, like, what was going on in that brain when I was struggling, especially in my late 20s, I really hit rock bottom, and especially during COVID time, I had to have football, being on that pitch. Like anyone, any sport, like any interest they have, like for me, football, playing that 90 minutes, my brain was switched off. And I would actually, not anymore, but honestly, I go into pitches sometimes and I'm like, oh my goodness, I would die in this pitch. That's crazy, isn't it? But I'm like, I'm so obsessed that I would actually die, because I love it so much. And scoring goals, as you've seen today, not the last match. It just.
You scored a few though.
Scored, but I was honestly so worried, because I am very, very aggressive. I'm like, so.
Can anyone attest to that here? Did they get
I tried.
Oh, we got a hand up at the back.
There he is.
I'm
so sorry, but I tried to keep it calm, but there's something happens when I'm on that pitch. I just feel alive, I am not coming out of retirement, though, because you're so obsessive. Like, I miss a chance, or I'll be honest, like the fact that we got put out of the semi-finals, I'm still annoyed by that.
Oh, no.
I am. I'm still annoyed that we didn't score and we didn't. But it's not as much as how obsessive you miss a chance on a Saturday, and still Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm still thinking about it.
Obsessing.
I would score 2 goals and I would get so annoyed I've not scored a hat-trick.
Right.
But, and the flip side of that, I mean, football is a beautiful game, absolutely. But there's still obviously a lot of challenges, but there's no doubt there's nothing more magical than playing on that pitch, and I've been blessed with so many beautiful moments, winning leagues, scoring last-minute winners to win leagues, memories that will live with me to the day I die. So, so proud to make an impact now on the pitch and now off the pitch.
Yeah, because you mentioned you've retired from football this year, but it seems like in some ways you have got a career as like an ambassador and a kind of role model starting. Like, what is in the future for you?
It took me by surprise, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just thought in Benidorm, I make this post and I can crack on my football, might get a wee bit of hate online, but it's not going to have an impact on people. Yeah. Honestly, that is genuinely, I cannot believe my life. Like, for anyone who doesn't know, I travel the world now and engage with big businesses, because a lot of engineering, construction, stereotypical, male-dominated workforces, they want to hear me talk because they feel that, it could change some hearts and minds. They feel that maybe sometimes they've got a problem, like if I've maybe some homophobic cases, and listening to me, sometimes it can relate to them, because everyone loves football, don't they? Mm-hmm. So that's been awesome. But the challenging homophobia workshops, I hope, when I had the conversations, obviously I got all these letters and I'm like, right, I'm going to change the world of homophobia. I'm going to have such an impact. Quickly got brought back down to earth. But to now get funding and for the SFA to finally see this as like, oh no, this is actually having a real impact on our kids, to be better people. Mm-hmm. That is just a dream come true. And obviously, if I didn't do this, I wouldn't be here today in Berlin having my best life. Yeah, so
wow.
That's good.
I mean, you said when you did it, you wanted to change the world, and you said, maybe that's not going to happen. But you're doing these workshops, and you're being a role model for people, and it's like little wins. Can you see it like that you will have a huge impact that way?
Yeah, we also, we go into hard schools, like sometimes schools, not even football, just like, listen, we've got a group of boys who are really homophobic.
Yep.
Can you just go and have a chat with them? And we do that. Like, we don't post that on social media though. So we've had to, and honestly, it's actually a really nice conversation. Like, I'm going to go Glaswegian here, so I'm sorry if no one understands me. Like, Zander, like, what? See if I say like gay, is that offensive to people? Or see if I say that, but that's nice. I want them to be open about it, and it's, you know, and have a conversation about it, that they can relate to someone. He was gay, but he's brand new. What's brand new in general terms? He's cool. Yeah.
Right. Oh, is that slang? Is that
brand new?
Glaswegian slang?
That's Glaswegian slang.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone else know brand new?
Brand new.
No? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So brand new means he's cool. That
Right.
means the world, because hopefully that has a ripple effect on his daily lives, and if he sees his friend being homophobic or transphobic, whatever, then that's it. Just to be a better person. And I'm glad that, you know, my story has connected with people, both in my community but also general society. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad to play a small part.
And is it the fact that you're a footballer that you feel like you can identify with these kids and that they open up to you? Because that's a really great conversation that you had, but, you know, there was a level of openness from them that needed to happen.
Yeah. So what we try and do is I try and play football with them first.
Not smoke them and then they'll respect you.
It's crazy, isn't it? But it's a beautiful game. But yeah, obviously I make sure I'm not aggressive like I was today in the last match. But I try and make sure, you know, I'm good and I score good. And for whatever reason, the beautiful game, as the last conversation, it was great when you're chatting about it. For whatever reason, regardless of race, religion, sexual identity, anything, it binds us together, eh? Like, a lot of people probably playing today had no idea who I was, but the respect was there, do you know what I mean? And it means the world. It really, really does. And that's an important, you know, change. And when I go into these football workshops, like, I know some of the coaches, I sometimes know some of the players, they've maybe been on loan at my club. And because of what I've done on the pitch in Scotland, I've got that respect. So they listen to me, which it's not just me. I work for a lovely charity. Shout out to Time for Inclusive Education. They're incredible as well. They do the workshop with me. But yeah, it's nice to have that respect. And probably, yeah, football has played a massive part in why I've maybe gained that respect. So yeah.
And I sort of want to finish on, there's a lot of football fans here and a lot of players. What can we do? Like, what is our responsibility to create safer spaces and just create environments where people feel comfortable to play the game they love?
Well, what was it, Friday I went to Germany, Spain here, and no shade on this Pride House Berlin, I genuinely thought this would be like a small room and we could watch the match. But our community, great. I turned up and there was like a queue like all the way around the Pride, and I came up in the stadium and I'm like, what on earth is this? This is unbelievable. Like, shout out to all you, that is wow, I was astonished, and it was a safe space. And speaking to Alice after it, she was telling me, like, there was people like, they were non-binary who've never watched a live match before because they were too scared, and they felt like this was such a safe space, like everyone was so nice and respectful. That is it. That's all we ask for. Just be super. For anybody who's probably listening to me, like, I don't know, you've never really met someone LGBTQ+, or never really engaged, like, all we're really asking is, regardless of your beliefs, just be super mindful of what you're saying, because it could be directly impacting the person next to you.
Yep.
That is it. And yeah, these spaces are so important. Do you know what I mean? It is, because it's also changing hearts and minds. And I was speaking to Alice. This is obviously a Turkish-German club, and they're seeing how well received it was, and they're also engaging with them, liaising with these clubs, and realizing, obviously, we're nice people. You know, as I say, I'm not stereotyping the club, but obviously, people maybe just do put us in one box. What they've seen some toxic male influencer online. Do you know what I mean? So I think these things are massive all across the world, and what an utter privilege to be here.
It's been great. It's been great. Put your hands together for Zander Murray, everyone.